So in machine learning, building the model is really just the first step. The big question always is, how good is it really? Today, we're going to break down one of the most powerful tools you need to answer that question, the confusion matrix.
Right, so you've done all the hard work. You've trained your algorithm, and it's spitting out predictions. But how do you actually measure its performance? Beyond just a simple accuracy score. How can you really dig in and see where it's succeeding, and maybe more importantly, how it's failing? That's the problem we're here to solve.
And the solution is the confusion matrix. At its heart, it's just a simple table, but don't let that fool you. It's incredibly powerful for understanding your model's performance. The whole idea is that it doesn't just tell you if the model was wrong, it shows you precisely how it was wrong, by stacking up the predictions against what actually happened.
Now what's really cool is how it's structured. You've got two dimensions going on here. The rows show the actual classes, what was true in the real world, and the columns, that's what our model predicted. This simple 2x2 grid gives us 4 possible outcomes, and understanding these 4 quadrants is the key to unlocking everything you need to know about your model.
First up, we've got the best case scenario for a positive prediction, a true positive. This is a total win. It's when your model correctly predicts something is positive. So for example, if an email is actually spam and your model flags it as spam, bam, that's a true positive.
On the flip side, we have a true negative. This is the other type of correct prediction. It's when the model correctly says something is negative. So, if an important email is not spam and your model correctly leaves it alone in your inbox, that's a true negative. Another win.
Okay, now we get to the mistakes. A false positive is when the model gets a little overeager. It predicts something is positive, but it's actually negative. This is also called a type 1 error. Think about a totally normal email getting sent to your spam folder. Super annoying, right? That's a false positive. And that brings us to the second kind of error, which can often be way more dangerous, the false negative. This is when the model predicts something is negative, but it was actually positive. This is also called a type 2 error. This is that pesky spam email that your model completely misses and it lands right in your inbox. Or in a medical diagnosis, this is the error you really want to avoid. So now that we have these 4 outcomes, we can start calculating some really useful metrics. The most straightforward one is accuracy. It answers a simple question. What fraction of the predictions did the model just get right? The formula is pretty simple. You just add up all the correct predictions, the true positives and true negatives, and divide by the total number of predictions made.
But, accuracy doesn't tell the whole story. Let's look at recall. Recall answers a very specific and very important question. Out of all the things that were actually positive, how many did our model manage to catch? This one is absolutely crucial when the cost of missing a positive case, a false negative, is really high.
Next up is precision. Precision asks a totally different question. It asks, when our model did predict something was positive, how often was it actually right? This is all about the quality of those positive predictions. If your model has high precision, it means when it raises a red flag, you can be pretty darn sure it's for a good reason.
So you've got precision and you've got recall, and a lot of the time they're in a bit of a tug of war. That's where the F1 score comes into play. It's what we call the harmonic mean of precision and recall, which is just a fancy way of saying it gives you a single score that balances both of them. This is super useful when your data is imbalanced, like when you have way more negative examples than positive ones.
Okay, enough with the theory. Let's make this real. Here's a confusion matrix from a model that analyzed 10,000 different cases. You can see the exact numbers for each of our 4 outcomes. Now, let's grab those formulas we just talked about and see how this model really did.
All right, first things first, let's just pull the numbers straight from the table. We've got 9,760 true negatives, 140 false positives, 40 false negatives, and just 60 true positives. Okay, now we have everything we need to start calculating. So, let's run the numbers. First, accuracy. And it comes out to a whopping 98.2%. That looks amazing, right? But hold on, let's look closer. The precision is only 30%. The recall is a bit better at 60%, and the balanced F1 score is sitting at 40%. And this, right here, is the main event. We have an accuracy score of over 98%, which, on the surface, looks fantastic. But then you see a precision of just 30%. What does that actually mean? It means that when this model claims something is positive, it's actually wrong 70% of the time. That's not good. So the huge takeaway here is that accuracy alone can be super misleading, especially when you have imbalanced data.
In those high-stakes situations, like screening for a disease or detecting bank fraud, a single false negative, missing a real case, could be an absolute disaster. That's why we need precision and recall to get the complete picture.
All right, now that you've seen how this all works, it's your turn to get your hands dirty. Let's try out a practice problem.
Okay, here's the scenario for you. A spam detection system just went through 500 emails. We know for a fact that 300 of them were not spam and 200 of them were. Now here's what the model did. It predicted 250 emails were not spam, and it got 230 of those right. It predicted the other 250 were spam, and it got 170 of those right.
So, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to take that information, build out the 2x2 confusion matrix, and then calculate all 4 of our key metrics: accuracy, precision, recall, and the F1 score. Go ahead and pause right here and give it a shot. Honestly, this is the best way to make these concepts really stick. If you were able to work through that problem, then seriously, congratulations. You've just gotten a handle on one of the most fundamental concepts in model evaluation. Being able to understand not just if your model is right, but how it's right and wrong, that's a game-changing skill for anyone in data science.